What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sneaker Homegirls podcast. I'm Rossetti Gutierrez-Uy.
And I am Maria DiMaggio Hickman. We're two Las Vegas realtors blending real estate, hustle, and sneaker culture all in one place.
If you are into real estate, entrepreneurship, and making big moves, you're in the right spot.
We're breaking down market trends, sharing behind-the-scenes stories, and giving you the game on how to build wealth through real estate.
And of course, we're talking sneakers, culture, and how we stay fresh while handling business.
So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. This is the Sneaker Homegirls podcast.
Welcome back to the Sneaker Homegirls podcast. Today, we have a member of our team, Julio, here with us today.
And I'm not a girl and I have no sneakers.
You wear sneakers. You're a soccer dad.
Yeah. Just not right now. I don't know what the rules are to be part of this group.
No, I'm wearing chunkless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chunkless.
Yeah.
That's right.
Most of the time, we wear sandals.
Don't tell them that. That's going to ruin the image of the sneaker.
You know, we do when we're together. We try to. But, you know, it's hot.
Yeah.
To wear sandals in the summer is like more of a vibe.
Well, I think that's like when you think of an agent, you think of a suit, you think everything. But if you really look at agents here in Vegas, we're just wearing t-shirts and shorts many times. And it's not because we don't care. It really is because it's so hot. You know, when it's 110 degrees, I mean, you know, it's got to be uncomfortable, I think, for our clients to see us in suits if that's what we're going to wear. You know, it gets a little bit weird. So that's why.
It looks great if you're indoors. If you're indoors, it looks fantastic. Mm-hmm. If you're outside, like we are most of the time, it's really hot and 115 degrees, and we need water.
You need water, a lot of water. Absolutely.
Like, it blows my mind that people walk around here and they have no water, like no bottle, nothing. It's kind of like my emotional support.
You have to have it with you. People don't know how dangerous it is. Like, I don't know if you remember last year or the year before, there was a huge battery spill going to California.
Oh, really?
And they closed the freeway seriously during the middle of the summer. So these people were stuck in this freeway in the middle of the desert, many of them without water. They ran out of gas for over 24 hours.
Oh, wait, is this last year?
I think it was last year.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you remember that, right?
I do remember that because I was going to Comic-Con and I saw the car and I was like, we gotta go. They're about to shut this down. I was like, I know they're about to shut this down. The car was like on fire and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I am a weirdo little survivalist. Like, I always travel with a 5-gallon water, like 3 or 5 gallon water, no matter where we're going. And
we
we
have
through
the desert. That's the right thing to do.
I don't know. And those people were stuck for, I think it was like 40 hours.
They were like I think one of our
Friday
agents,
to Monday or something.
They had to try to meet like in the middle of the desert with family going the other way, and like they ran out of gas, so even your AC was out. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that people have to remember about Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyways, move over to Vegas.
Don't get stuck in California. Move to Vegas.
Move to Vegas. Yeah, but that was interesting. That was intense.
Yeah, I mean, the roadways, any concert or Super Bowl or things like that, the drive to California is just like 7 hours, 8 hours.
Intense.
You never know.
Yeah, one time I think my brother and I, it must have been a long time ago, we were coming back from when we used to live in California, and it was over 12 hours just to get to Southern California. When normally it takes like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
There was some ice, and the one road they shut down. But the good thing is that they're building that train. Hopefully it's not like that other project. It's supposed to have already started, and it's going to meet in Southern California, and it's going to take you through Victorville. I think that's going to be one of the main hubs, and then from there, it's going to leave you like right by the entrance of Vegas. And it's supposed to be like a really fast, a really, really fast train where it takes you maybe about 3 hours or so to get here. So then you don't have to worry about traffic or about those special events. So I think that's going to be really useful for the not just Southern California, but also for Southern Nevada, for that industry, for the tourism. It's going to alleviate a lot of things, because when you think about it, what's easier, building a bunch of new freeways or just having one train cutting through all the traffic? So I think that's really exciting for our community here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to read this thing I found on Google, our friend Google here. It says that the Brightline West is currently under construction and it's going to connect Las Vegas, Nevada, and Southern California. The 218-mile all-electric train is expected to reach speeds of 200 miles per hour, potentially cutting travel time between Las Vegas and Rancho Cucamonga near LA. The project is slated to complete in 2028, so in 3 years.
They're going really fast on this. I mean, it's not like the other things that you hear that take years. From what I understand, they're going really fast on building this out. But I think that's also, can you imagine all the businesses that are going to thrive in Victorville or like in the Inland Empire and here because of all the people coming there and dropping off their cars and just getting on that train? I think that's going to be a big deal.
So are they only doing like a commercial train, or are they also doing a train that like services goods?
from what I understand, I think it's just like people. It's
Okay,
like it's
just
like a
people.
people train. Yeah, it's like a people train, just transporting
Yeah.
people back and forth.
They
But
received a $3 billion grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation, and the project is estimated to cost $12 billion. Billion.
with a B.
With a B. This project is expected to create 35,000 jobs, according to Brightline West and our friend Google. That's so interesting. I feel like the drive right now with Californians moving to Nevada and the tax care benefits that we have, I mean, if you have to consider quality of life, it's an option.
And I think that's why it's so important, even when you're looking at the current market. But people are just really concerned about all the doom and gloom that the media always feeds you, right?
Yeah.
Not just in real estate, but just overall in health or political, whatever. You know, it's good to remember that Vegas is thriving. It's just building so much. I mean, all the sports teams we've gotten, all the new casinos that they continuously build, all the people that moved in. There's just so much demand here where we can't just. I can't remember the number, but there's this huge number of homes that are so needed just to break even here in Vegas. And that when you see these huge projects from California, people coming here, there's no stopping Vegas. Like in my view, what I believe, I think in 10 years, if you have a $400,000 house here, in 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised if it's $700,000 or $800,000.
Yeah.
Because there's just such a high demand here in Vegas. And things like this prove it, right? You look at this innovation, you look at this construction going on here, and we both live here, so we know it's all parts of town. It is just so busy. And that's what's exciting about Vegas, knowing that our market is strong. There's always hiccups in the market, but you see this huge demand of people left and right looking to buy. And that's what I think what's great about Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, Inspirada's master plan community is still new within the last 10 years, and there's Cadence and Kyle Canyon and Sky Canyon. Like, those weren't around when I was in high school, you know, and those are big master plan communities, and all the Sun Cities around town. So as far as quality of life, I love it, and there's so much food here. Like, there's an international airport, you're able to travel often, it's a very dog-friendly city, and depending on what municipality you live in, you can have chickens too.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what's so cool about Vegas. Like, I remember coming here when I was little, and back then, I'm not going to say how old I was, but anyways, I used to come and it was just Vegas, right? But when you fly into Vegas, you literally now look at a vast city. Just pretend going to Southern California, you see it, and you just see, you know, rows of homes, and then you see a small little strip. It's actually, the strip is getting smaller because everything's getting so much bigger.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, you know, you touch on a few communities, Sky Canyon, Centennial, you have. So it's actually a people train. It's actually a people train. I think it's going to be bringing people strictly from Southern California to here. And could you imagine all the new commerce that's going to be established in Southern California as well? Could you imagine all the different, you know, things like restaurants or something in those stations in Southern California that are going to be having to feed so many, probably thousands or millions of people over the years. So I think that's really exciting that Vegas is growing so much. When you look at all the communities, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but, you know, look at Sky Canyon, look at Centennial, Spring Valley, Lone Mountain area. I mean, when you're looking at Vegas, it's not just a strip like when I was little, when we used to come here from Southern California with my parents. It's just not a strip anymore. You fly in and it looks like one of those big cities. You fly in and you see just homes and parks from the airplane. And then finally get to the strip, and the strip is actually looking smaller, in my opinion, than what it was, because everything else is getting so much bigger. And that's what I really like about Vegas. The demand is here. I don't see this market crashing at all. I know people like to hear the doom and gloom about the news, the media. For me, it's just, you look at all this development here, the sports teams, the businesses. We're not just a gambling city. We're an entertainment city, right? Because not everybody likes to gamble, right? I hear that the casinos are making a big stride towards the younger people that don't gamble. So that's a whole generational shift. You're looking at Amazon here. You look at Hollywood coming in. It is just a very strong city. So when you look at this market, I strongly believe that in 10 years, a house that is worth $400,000, I strongly believe it's going to be worth $800,000. So I would say get in the market now.
Yeah, I've been saying probably for the last 10 years that Las Vegas is going to transition to be more of like a San Diego type of city, especially with our San Diego people moving here. And you know, just most of Southern California, it's close in diameter. You probably already travel here. Maybe you're approaching retirement or looking for a different lifestyle, it's definitely something to consider. It's a big move. There's a lot of dynamics that comes to relocating from another state, no matter California, Utah, Chicago, New York, Florida, Texas, and everyone's moving to Nashville right now. It just takes a process, and that's why we're here to help you, because when it comes to our city, we're boots on the ground every day. So every day is a different day.
Yes, it is. And so for a while, I had an RV rental business.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? Mm-hmm. And I was surprised when I got into it, because you see people from a lot of Europeans and people just from the East Coast. This was their central hub. So they come here and they visit not just Red Rock and Valley of Fire, which are great places, but you're literally at the center of all nature as well. Because when you think of Vegas, how is that? Really, you have Zion so close to you. You have Death Valley close to you. You have the Grand Canyon close to you. You have all the other national parks in Utah, right? Arches National Park. You're at such a center of this Bryce Canyon. I mean, it is such a cool place, because you're just literally hours from the beach, arguably, right? About 4 hours you could be in California. But at the same time, within less than 4 hours, you're at all these beautiful national parks. So if you like nature, you have Lake Mead, you have that beautiful lake right there. It's huge. And there's just so much. So that's why Vegas, I think, is just the best big thing that's happening here. Just like you mentioned, the next San Diego, right?
Yeah, when I bought a house in 2018, your average sales price was $260 for a single family home. Today, it's closer to $500,000, just below that. I mean, maybe $550, depending on what you're looking for. And townhomes like $354. So that's just within the last few years. 10 years, 20 years, we can't predict the future, but we can tell you whether or not you're capable of doing it right now. And I think that's the key turnaround for a lot of the listeners who are watching this that are on the fence, because it's a big scary move, right? Like getting a car is a big scary move. Getting a house and being locked in for 30 years, I can understand the severity of like your emotions, but you're also building generational wealth. And as long as you do the proper research and you do the steps that it takes, it's fairly simple.
Yeah, it's when you're looking at the current market, I would say when you're looking at the current market, even though the interest rates are high, there's a reason why the home prices are not really going down much.
Yeah.
I mean, with these crazy interest rates where a lot of people are not buying, the home prices are not really going down that much. Mm-hmm. Why? Is because the value's here. Because it's an artificial price, an artificial demand that's down because of those interest rates.
Yeah.
When these interest rates drop, I mean, I think it's going to be hectic out there. You have this. I look at it more like a dam, right? Since 2022, when the interest rates really went up, of people that came here that haven't bought yet because of the interest rates, that people that needed to downsize, that haven't sold and bought a new house because of the interest rates, that people that need a bigger house. So the way I look at it, it's like a dam, right? That's the way I look at this market right now. You have almost like since like 2022, when these interest rates started going up, people have stopped completely buying. You have people that moved in here. You have professionals that moved in here to Vegas that haven't bought in it because of these interest rates. You have people that need to buy a bigger house, but they haven't done it because of the interest rates. You have people that need to downsize and then buy, but haven't done so because of the interest rates. You have all this huge demand where people want to and need to buy, but they haven't because they're all waiting for these interest rates to drop. What's interesting here is that I strongly believe when these interest rates drop, all these years worth of people that have been wanting to buy, they are all going to rush in the market. So even though we say, the home prices are high, if you think these are high, in my opinion, it's about to shoot up as soon as the interest rates go down, because everybody and their moms are going to want to buy a house.
Yeah. I think it's always depending on what you can afford per month. There's the lender, if you are getting a loan, is going to do a debt to income ratio. We don't always want to be at the cap, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're approved, that's something to consider if you're able to afford it, right? Because some people may be pre-approved for like even double what they actually buy, but being comfortable with that monthly payment, I think, is important. And if you are realistically able to pay it, because when the rates do go down, instead of competing with 3 million more buyers, you refinance.
Exactly. No, I think that's what's key. And you hit it right. I think that's what I really like about this team. We're really focused on our clients. We're not just about, like I've said last week, it's, if it's a bad time to sell, I'll tell you, it may not be the best time, but you really try to get it out there. And that's one of the things to where you're really looking at what are you comfortable with? Don't max yourself out. Don't put yourself under stress. What are you comfortable with, right? Because from there, if you refinance when rates go down, if you qualify and if they do go down, then now you're going to be super comfortable.
Yeah.
But don't buy a house right now. And some agents may say, hey, marry the house, date the rate. I'm not a huge fan of that because you don't know when that interest rate's going to go down. And in the meantime, if you're barely making it and if you have an emergency come up, you may have trouble making those payments. So for me, it's just, well, how about you just find a payment that you could do, and from there it could just get better when the interest rates go down.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Do you use eProperty Watch?
No.
Okay, so eProperty Watch is a platform that we have access to that we're able to input your home address and see how much it's worth. It's a data collected software that we use to, leverage exactly how much money your home would be worth. However, if the demand is high and you're the only home on the block, I can guarantee you can get over ask. So depending on what you price it at, I think that's a great tool that our team can utilize for sellers out there that are listening to this that, maybe they just want to see $200,000 worth of equity before they consider selling, right? But how do they know as a consumer, unless Zillow tells you, right? Zillow's not always accurate, or Redfin or any of those things, right? They're all just estimates. It's all about demand. You're able to know what your threshold is. Because the curiosity of a homeowner is always like, okay, how much is it worth now? Mm-hmm. And as a first-time home buyer, what you start to learn is that these are expenses you're always going to have as a homeowner, like changing your air filters or, getting a deep clean on the house. Like these are just things to prepare you for the future so the property is in a good condition. Because sometimes what happens, especially your older people who do not have caretakers, the home kind of gets run down a little bit because they're not able to take care of it like they once used to be.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point because I know we've been talking about buyers for a lot, but look at sellers too, and you hit it right there. You get all these numbers from different places like Zillow and everything. It is a good starting point, but it could be way off. That's just what I tell them, because it really has to be with how desirable the house is. It doesn't matter what it appraises for, how desirable it is, because it's only as good as someone's willing to pay for, right?
Yeah. It's
not just going to be like, hey, Zillow says it's that, so that's what I have. If no one gives you that money, then it's not worth them that. So that's what I tell them. When you're a listing agent, you really have to look out for your sellers as well. You have to make sure you point out these things. You just can't try to be, dishonest and say your house is beautiful. You got to say, okay, it has a lot of potential. Let's try to fix it just a little bit so you can get top dollar. Unless you're not interested in that, then we can list it as is and let's try to see what we can get, right? But I always tell them, right, change the lights a little bit, clean those air filters that I know Maria said a couple of weeks ago, right? Do these little things, clean your driveway, get that oil out. So sometimes when we live in a place for so long, especially people that have lived in a place for so long, you tend to dismiss these things because it's just part of your everyday life. But that's where an honest agent comes in and tells you, hey, you should probably change this a little bit.
Yeah, and there's some agents that'll go in there and tell you a unicorn number, and sometimes you get lucky, and that just happens. But it really depends on what, in my opinion, as a seller's agent, like, do you want to sell? Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to sell, if you price it at a good deal, I guarantee you will get an offer in a week. There are active buyers just picking stuff up if it's a good deal. But if you want to make equity, right, and work a deal with a buyer who is potentially, needing a little bit of help, but can get into the home and has good faith and funds, you can do that too. And you'll probably get more because our investors are not going to pay full price.
Exactly. No, exactly. And you actually touched on a really thing that really bothers me a little bit, right? When you meet these sellers, they're interested in selling their house and you meet with them, you give them a good data-driven approach of why their house is worth a certain amount. And then, there's an agent that offered me, that said that they could sell it for $50K more, $60K. You're just like, what? But all they want is their business.
Yeah.
So sometimes, to the sellers out there, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now, at the end of the day, I always tell people, and I know we all have our different approaches. I tell them hey, I'll list at the number you want. I know you don't want to leave them money on the table. We'll give it a try. If not, let's go back to reality a little bit. But at the end of the day, if an agent, if I tell you your house is gonna be worth $400, that's a good place where you're probably gonna get good offers. And someone's telling you, hey, you get $480. I mean, they're not working with data anymore. So make sure that your agent is working with data and facts, not just with what you want to hear, because it sounds great.
And they should present that to you. In my opinion, you, as a seller's agent, you present to the seller. As a buyer's agent, you present to the buyer. I think sometimes it gets a little sticky in what we do for work, and just making sure that, you're representing your clients well when they're considering buying a house for, a lot of money. Maybe it's their first time, right? Hey, like, we want to work a deal with you, and they need $5,000 in closing costs. So are you willing to do that? Or are you going to sit on market for another week, or can we close in 30 days?
Exactly, because you're waiting for that to come. It reminds me of this gentleman, and I think he's awesome. And he says, I said, hey, I could list your house, and it is actually more of a friend, really. And he says, okay, I want to list my house for 1.2 million. I was like, your house maybe it's worth 700, maybe 8 if it gets better. I was like, where did you get that number from? He was like, oh, my neighbor told me, like, oh, your house must be worth like 1.2 million. I was like, well, did she make you an offer? Did she say she would buy it for 1.2? She was like, no, that's just what she said. Well, where did she get it from? But it's just, all these things that sometimes stick to our heads, and we kind of say, oh, it must be true. But in reality, let's look at that data. Let's look at that data, because that is a safer route to go.
And sometimes I will say sellers get lucky. If you want to wait and see if someone will just come in and pay cash, people will pay for it. But if you have an urge to leave, or if you have a job to go to, or if you have a relocation that is currently being processed, you only have so much time.
That's true. So you can always get lucky.
Yeah. And if you need to go somewhere, what I'm noticing for a lot of our relocation clients is your relocation realtor wants to see you under contract. They don't want to see that your home is just for sale, because the idea is to, the home sells, use the proceeds to buy wherever you plan to relocate, or if you invest, depending on what you want to do. But none of that really matters if, this doesn't sell.
That's right.
There's no money if the home is still there,
This is there. Yeah, that's why it's also good for the sellers to be honest with what it is.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing, because they think, for me, I'm just trying to get your house sold for the most money that I can with actual data-driven approach, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's the main thing. It's just be honest with your realtor. And if you cannot trust your realtor, if you're saying, are they playing a game? Maybe that's not the good realtor for you then. Because it's a conversation of you both trying to make it. I tell them, hey, this may be lower, this may be higher, but at least it's an honest conversation. That's the approach that I like to take. Because at the end of the day, if you say, hey, you know what, maybe it's not a good time to buy, maybe it isn't for you. Maybe it's not a good time to sell. That's okay too. We're still cool, we're still friends, right? And maybe it's another time. So that's the approach that I like to take as an agent.
Yeah, and the people who buy real estate after their first time, this relationship with title will always be forever, because they can always find out information is public record, just like you have access to the county assessor's page, the city of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson. Like, these are resources available to you. And I think as realtors, we just know them a little better, because sometimes if sellers have liens to pay off, or, disputes to, knock off the title, because you have to transfer property and clear title, we've done that before, right? So, or we at least know what office you need to go to to go figure it out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, Zay, have you ever helped a client after you close? Or are they just become invisible to you?
No,
and I know the answer, by the way.
See, this is what blows my mind. Okay, I understand that we're not for everyone. I totally understand that. Time-wise, whatever you value, but we're going to get the job done in a reasonable time. I have never understood, and maybe this is more on turnaround time for realtors here in the Valley, is they don't remember their agent's name. And I'm like, do you remember the company? They're like, and then you call the company, they're like, not there anymore, And I'm like, okay, like, all right. Because at the end of the day, when you reach out to us, we help you find the resources to assist you. You decide. You want to?
I love to be a resource. I like it when people give me a call back. I know you're the same.
Yeah.
If people, our communication doesn't end when we close escrow. Here are the keys. Okay, we'll never see you again. I literally get calls about like, hey, my HOA I think is off, or hey, the power bill, or hey, this. Where do I go from here, right? Let us be that resource. Let us be that resource. That's really what we're there to do. We're really to be of service, really. Because for me, it's not just about helping you buy the house. For me, I like to maintain that relationship with you, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many questions that come with being a new homeowner. Hey, where do I make my bill to, right? Where do I send a check? Hey, I haven't gotten a bill yet. It's happened before, and I'm there for them, right? And I can lead them to the right direction. Or hey, do you know someone that could help me maybe fix something, right? Mm-hmm. Let us be that resource for you, because a good agent, that's what we're there for. You're not a hassle. You're not an inconvenience for us. You've really become someone that's in a way you become part of your life in a way, because you're with them for 60, 80 days. You're talking nearly daily on what are you looking for, from showing homes, from seeing what you like to eat, from meeting the family, meeting their kids, to where they become a kind of a part of you, part of your life. And that's why I love it when I get to continue to talk to all my old clients, because that shows that I did a good job and they feel comfortable reaching out to me, and I reach out to them as well.
I just went to a client's home over the weekend, aka our family, and the transformation of paint and furniture and all the things was really nice to see, because now they've made it their home. And before it was just an idea, you know, and then another client we built from foundation up, and we're getting keys tomorrow. So that feeling of, you know, going through the whirlwind of emotions, and after, you know, we like to check in and see how things are doing. We understand people aren't always, you know, ready to invest. Some people want to just buy their primary residence and that's it. But if you want to invest some more and there's some equity in there, it could be a great opportunity for you. But we're not CPAs or attorneys. And I always think that that's an interesting thing. I hear that, you know, some of the strongest relationships I have are with CPAs and attorneys, because I don't know, you guys know the answer. That sounds like an attorney question, not a realtor question, right? Or like, you know, what is it a good idea for me to get a house? Like, ask your CPA. Like, you know, I'm not a financial advisor. If you want to get a good deal on a home and you want to get a mortgage, we can help you, or relocate. But also, we get the like late night calls when your AC goes out, and, you know, just like anything, right? We're a resource for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, we meet so many people in the real estate industry, like even inspectors know people, and they know people, and they know people. So our network of resources, I would say, we're probably better than the Yellow Page. I don't know if people know. Sorry, you know, the people know what the Yellow Pages are.
I think you still get the Yellow Pages.
Or the internet, right?
So the internet. Some people get the paper in my neighborhood.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that existed.
You remember everyone used to get the paper?
Yeah.
The paper boys. What happened to the paper boys?
I don't know.
They're saving paper.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
That's good. I'm very happy for that, because people did, like, they didn't really check them.
Yeah, they didn't really check them anymore.
Yeah.
But
now,
yeah, we're like one of them. We really are. Like,
yeah.
I have a connection for any of that. Hey, you know, someone for flooring, or someone for this, or someone for painting, or someone for my AC, or, you know, my AC person's not getting here fast enough. Do you have another one? You know, I mean, we have so many people.
And TaskRabbit is really great too for those that, you know, may not be able to afford a licensed contractor and you just need your TV hung, you know, some things like that. TaskRabbit's always really great. Definitely read the reviews. But it's a platform that you can use that you're able to just hire whatever work is needed. And I think, like, I hired someone to install my ceiling fans. That was pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
Because, you know, contractors are busy. So if the contractors get it's just one tie. I'm not touching it. You know?
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. And that's another crazy thing too. Like, hiring a licensed contractor, because you don't want to do that. It's like you might get shocked.
Yeah, you don't want to die.
Yeah, like don't cut your own palm trees, guys. I know it's expensive, but save money to cut your palm trees every year. And if you don't cut your palm trees, next year it will be even more, and it'll be double more expensive. Because I have some clients, their palm tree cuttings are like $3,000, and they're like, I'm not doing this. And I'm like, you can't just wait another year. You have to cut it, and then every year after that, it's less.
Just lately, someone got stuck inside a palm tree trying to cut it. Did you hear that? I thought that person died, or did they survive?
Dangerous. They're
got stuck in the palm tree. I didn't even know that could happen.
That's dangerous.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
They're very sharp. What my neighbors and I do is we all opt in, so we pay less.
Oh, that's nice.
So you do it together. So rally up your neighbors and get them to do that.
Cool. Well, if you have any questions regarding any of this, even if you're not my client, let me know. Real Estate with Julio on Instagram. Real Estate with Julio.
And Julio also speaks Spanish.
Yo soy Julio Hernández, soy agente de bienes raíces aquí en Las Vegas, y estoy listos para ayudarles a comprar o vender su casa o su terreno, lo que usted desee. Es un buen tiempo ahorita para comprar, especialmente si es un comprador, porque hay muchas oportunidades para ayudarles a comprar. Como con enganche ahorita hay oportunidades de ni tener que pagar nada para moverse a su nueva casa. Entonces, si tiene una pregunta, por favor, llámeme, mándenme un mensaje y con mucho gusto los puedo ayudar. Si desea más información, vaya a nuestro sitio de internet, emptyhomes.com, para más información. Is that what I said? Is that what you wanted me to say? That's what you wanted me to say. Is that what you wanted me to say?
Yeah, I was like,
sorry.
okay,
You know, I don't do it that often, so I'm trying to get used to like doing the Spanish on the camera. I mean, if it's in person, we'll speak any.
Yeah.
¿Qué onda, mi gente? ¿Cómo están? Aquí está Julio. Right, yeah. Yeah. Maybe I could do something more relaxed.
Yeah, do it again. Do one more.
No, stop it.
Come on, do one more.
Can you ask me a question?
Julio, is it a good time to buy a house right now?
Ahorita es un tiempo excelente para comprar. Esos tiempos no vienen cada día. De vez en cuando hay unos tiempos que, como ahorita, que un comprador puede agarrar dinero gratis para sus costos de cierre o para enganches. Y hasta ahorita muchos vendedores le están pagando a los agentes del comprador la comisión. Entonces, la pura verdad, muchos compradores ahorita pueden moverse una casa sin $0. Es posible. Si quiere más información, vaya a nuestro sitio de internet emptyhomes.com y con mucho gusto les podemos dar más información.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Sneaker Homegirls podcast. Julio and I are going to go get tacos because it's Taco Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. Hasta luego.
Peace.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Sneaker Homegirls podcast.
We appreciate you tapping in and rocking it with us. Real estate, hustle, and sneakers, that's what we do.
If you got value from this episode, make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Follow us on Instagram at The Sneaker Homegirls for behind-the-scenes content, market updates, and of course, sneaker drops.
Let us know in the comments what topics you'd like for us to cover next. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep hustling, stay fresh, and we'll catch you on the next episode.